Federal regulations have officially gone into effect for privately made firearm kits known as ghost guns after legal challenges were denied by two judges. The White House has called these DIY kits, quote, the weapon of choice for many violent criminals.
And Illinois AG Kwame Raoul is part of a coalition of attorney generals defending the crackdown on ghost guns. So let's bring him in to discuss now. Welcome to you, Attorney General Raoul. Let's start. These new regulations include mandatory serial numbers for certain parts of ghost guns, as well as background checks for purchasers. Why is this a critical step in the fight against gun violence?
Thank you for having me. Good afternoon. It brings it in alignment with how we regulate guns in general. And you know, you certainly may have covered the recent 4th of July mass shooting in Highland Park, Illinois. Law enforcement authorities were able to quickly trace a gun used in that shooting, in part based on a serial number, and quickly apprehend the shooter before he was able to go to another location and engage in another mass shooting. Were it a ghost gun without serial numbers, there would not have been able to be that quick action. That's one example of among many as to why it's critical to regulate these ghost guns.
That tracing so critically important. The Justice Department reported over 19,300 ghost guns recovered by law enforcement last year. That's nearly double the number recovered in 2020, nearly 5 times what was reported in 2018. What do you think is driving this huge increase, and how confident are you that the number will begin to decrease with these new regulations in place?
The rise in the number of ghost guns sold is specifically linked to the fact that they're untraceable guns. And so, yes, I think the Biden administration and the ATF's regulations will have an impact. In the suit that was filed challenging the regulations, by some of my Republican colleagues, one of the assertions was it's going to be damaging to a business that manufactures these things. Well, it should be. If you're manufacturing guns that can go undetectable by law enforcement, you shouldn't be in business.
And that's the next thing that we want to ask you about, because those numbers that Eva just mentioned and the huge increase in just the last few years certainly points to, some saying that these regulations are necessary, but these legal challenges that the president's crackdown will face, how confident are you that these regulations will hold?
I'm fairly confident. Just as serial numbers on firearms in general and background checks and firearms in general are not inconsistent with the Second Amendment. I think applying the same to ghost guns will survive scrutiny.
It's back to school right now across the country, and guns in schools is something so many parents are thinking about. This month, you partnered with the Secret Service to host a training on gun violence prevention in schools. What information from this training can schools across the country glean when it comes to keeping classrooms safe?
Yes, so we've been partnering with the Secret Service's National Threat Assessment Center for the last 3 years, and we've done over 10 such trainings. And these are meaningful trainings because we give teachers, administrators, parents, and others notice of what trends to watch out for, where they can report information. If you look at many of the mass shootings which the National Threat Assessment Center has studied over the years, there are consistent signs of things that might tip folks off as to information that they can report to law enforcement before a mass shooting.
It is important work, and as we talk about gun prevention, obviously keeping schools safe is top of mind. Illinois Attorney General Kwame Raoul, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
Well, hey there, GMA fans. Robin Roberts here. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Lots of great stuff here. So go on, click the subscribe button right over here to get more of awesome videos and content from GMA every day, anytime. We thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the morning on GMA.